What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Irvin here. Irvin, Big Swerve. All right, this is Cdl4less pre-trip Class A. So day of your test, they're going to give you this checklist. All right, this is the Class A test checklist. You see they got the boxes here. You're basically going to go right down this list and check off the boxes as you go, so bring a pen or pencil. All right, so the first things first. When we start, we want to make sure that we're around 90 PSI, so that way when we do our safe start, that's the first thing you do. Turn your key over until the gauges light up. Dash light up. Once those lights pretty much clear out, ABS light just went out. Now we can start the truck, and we'll tell the test that we're going to build the air pressure to 120. So in order to build it up a little quicker, what I'm going to do is give it a little gas, bring my RPMs up to about 1500. That way my two air tanks will build up a little faster, and we can get to 120 a lot quicker. Excuse the glare from the sun, y'all. Once we get to 120 PSI, we're going to hear that governor go off. Basically, you're going to hear the truck sneeze. That psst. All right. Once we get there, we know we had a full tank. There it goes. All right, so now that we had a full tank, we're going to explain to the tester who's going to be sitting in the passenger seat. Mr. or Mrs. Tester, I would like to perform an air brake test. Now that I'm at 120 PSI, first three key steps that I would like to do is make sure I turn my engine off. Reason we turn the engine off, because if it's constantly on, it's constantly building air. We have to check to make sure the truck is not leaking more than 4 PSI as we hold down the brake pedal. But once again, if the engine is on, you will never know if you're losing air because it's constantly being built. So you have to turn it off. Second step is to turn the key back to the on position. Gotta see the lights. We need to make sure that we do have power on to the truck. All right, and third and final, we want to make sure that we push in these brakes, release them. Push both brakes in, release those brakes. All right, those are the three key steps. Build up to 120, you hear the governor sneeze, key off, key on, releasing those brakes. Key off, key on, release those brakes. If you miss one of those three steps, you can fail your test. All right, so now that we did those three steps, we're now going to ask the tester to time us. Please time us for 1 minute. As we apply a little pressure to the brake, we want to make sure that we don't lose more than 4 PSI in that 1 minute. Wait for the tester to say your time starts now. Once they do, hold down that brake. Just hold it there for that entire minute. All right, for the sake of time, I'm not going to hold it for the entire minute, so this video won't be so long. But once that minute is up, the tester will say, all right, sir, you can release, or ma'am, you can release. And you tell them I didn't lose more than 4 PSI in that 1 minute. As you've seen, it stayed around 90 PSI. We're now going to continue to fan the air pressure down to 60 PSI when the warning lights and buzzers should engage to let us know we got low pressure. So we'll start fanning and wait for those lights and buzzers to come on. All right, lights and buzzers came on. That let us know that we have low pressure. So we're good. We're now going to continue to fan the brakes down below 40 PSI, and that's when those two parking brakes should pop out and engage. So now that we explained, we'll go ahead and fan it down. We're going to keep our eyes on that. They just popped out. We're below 40 PSI. So that concludes the air brake test, but now we want to build the truck air pressure back up to perform our parking and trailer brake check. So while this is actually building up to 120 to perform that parking and trailer brake check, I'm going to explain my service brake check. I'm going to go through the rest of my checklist while that's building up. So my service brake check, I would tell the tester, if I was to perform a service brake check, I would release those brakes, put my vehicle in drive straight ahead at 5 miles an hour, and then I will apply the brake to make sure I stop in a straight line. If the vehicle pulls over to the left or to the right as you apply the brakes, that's an indication of a low tire pressure issue or a suspension issue. You will have to put the vehicle out of service and get that check. Can't get it back on the road until it's fixed. All right. Next under that will be the light indicators. So what I'm gonna do is check my left signal, my right signal, pull back for my high beams, check my hazard lights, as well as my low beam park lights. All right, and they came on, perfect. All right, so next will be the emergency equipment. Emergency equipment will be my ABC fire extinguisher, fully charged. We know because it's in the green. We have 3 reflective triangles in the red box in the under the passenger seat, excuse me, and spare fuse in the glove box. Next will be the windshield and traffic monitor devices. Traffic monitor devices will be your mirrors. All right, so your windshield as well as the traffic monitor devices are all securely mounted to the truck. No crack, chips, or damages to the windshield or mirror. They're all properly sealed and no illegal stickers obstructing our view on the mirror or windshield. Next on the list will be the windshield wipers and fluid. So we make sure we got fluid and the wiper blades are making proper contact to the windshield. Blades are connected to the arm is connected to the truck, securely mounted, not missing us with bolts, not crack damage. All right, and from there we want to check the heat and defrost. So we turn everything over to the right, fill up top, fill down bottom, everything's working properly. We're gonna turn it back to the AC so we're not baking. All right, and after that we check the horn. All right, horn, that properly works. Now that we are finally above 90 PSI, we can go back to the parking and trailer brake check, because that's the only thing that we didn't get to check. Excuse. All right, so what we want to do now is release the truck brake. So that means we're checking the trailer. Put this vehicle in drive, and I'm gonna tap the gas. All right, that brake is actually holding pretty well, so we're gonna pull this out, push in. Now we're checking the truck brake. Same thing, tap the gas, it holds, pull that one back out, back into neutral. All right, so that includes everything here on this top portion. So now we have the exterior light check. So this is where you ask the tester, Mr. or Mrs. Tester, can you please step outside the vehicle, check all my external lights. They'll go to the front of the vehicle, hit your left signal, right signal, high beams, hazard lights, and low beams. They'll go to the back of the truck, left, right, hazards, brake lights, and reverse lights. Same thing with the back of the trailer. All right, and after that, they'll tell you to turn your engine off, take your key with you, come to the front of the vehicle. All right. So as you see the front of the vehicle, we're checking lenses and fluids. All right, so before we check the lenses, we want to tell them we approach the vehicle and make sure it's level, not leaning left or right. That could indicate a tire or suspension issue. Check underneath the engine compartment for any puddles, which indicate leaks. But we'll also check up top for the clearance lights, turn signals on both sides, and headlights. Make sure they're proper color, clean and clear, and amber in color. And we want to make sure they're all secure to the vehicle, not crack damage, no missing nuts or bolts. And you pop your hood. Then we over here. What we're going to check? We want to check the fluid levels. All right, so fluid levels. Before checking all fluid levels, I like to check all my wiring, hoses, as well as the reservoirs that hold fluid. Make sure they're all securely mounted, no missing nuts or bolts, no CDLs, not commercial driver's license, that's crack, damage, or leaks. All right, that's cheat code. All right, so now that we checked all those, check the fluid levels, coolant through the sight glass, make sure it reads between the add and fill line. If we need to add, we always wait till the engine is cool before adding any fluid to any fluid reservoir. All right, but then we'll also check the power steering, engine oil, and transmission. Pull those dipsticks out, wipe them clean, reinsert them, pull them back out, and check the levels. Make sure they read between add and full. Read between add and full, they're good. If we need to add, we once again wait till the engine is cool before adding. We'll then, all right, that's next on the list, steering system. So the steering system is going to be your steering shaft and universal U-joints on both ends. All right, U-joints and steering shaft connected to your gearbox, which is connected to your connecting arms, rods, castle nuts, and carter keys. They're all securely mounted, no missing nuts or bolts, not cracked, damaged, and or leaking from your gearbox. All right, then you check your tires. Tires is next on the list. All right, so tires right there. Check the in and outside tire wall. Make sure there's no cuts, bulges, or abrasions, no bubbles. Check your tread depth. You tell them you check it with a tread depth gauge. Front steer tire should be 4 30-seconds of tread. No recaps allowed. And the back tires are 2 30-seconds of tread. Recaps are allowed. Then you drop down to your valve stem. Check that. Make sure the cap is present. Secure, no cracks, damage, or leaks. Check that with an air pressure gauge. Tire pressure should be at least 80 to 100 PSI. Check the rims for any illegal welds. Make sure it's not cracked or damaged and no missing nuts or bolts as well. And check the lug nuts themselves. Make sure they're all present. All right, because that's next on the list, rims and lug nuts. Lug nuts should have no shininess around the treads and no rust trails leading the way could indicate loose lug nuts. All right, after that, you're going to check your springs, airbags, and shocks. So that'll be my front hanger mount, leaf spring, top and bottom shock absorber, U-bolts. They look like upside down U's, and the rear hanger mount all the way in the back behind the plastic frame. All right, all those parts securely mounted, no missing nuts or bolts, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. And then from there, you would check. We go down to the brake lines and hose and leaks. So we're checking the brake lines, hose here. Make sure they're securely mounted, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. all right, and not dry rotted or frayed. From there, you go to your brake contaminants. All right, so the brake contaminants, you're basically checking the inner brake drum and the outer brake drum for any contaminants such as oil or grease. And we don't see any. Everything's secured, no cracks, damage, leaks. After that, you can shut your hood down, latch it down. We're going to talk about the side of the vehicle. So now we're going to the side of vehicles, lenses and reflectors. So we're going to talk about our side lenses on the truck and trailer. All side lenses and reflector tape right here, lenses, are all proper color, amber to the front, and the last one back here is red to the rear. DOT tape is present, visible, and proper color. Everything is secured to the truck, not cracked or damaged, not ripped, torn. All right, so from there, after we check the lenses and reflectors, we're going to check the traffic monitor devices again, which are your mirrors again. Check to make sure the mirrors connect to the bracket connected to the truck, not missing any nuts or bolts, securely mounted, not cracked or damaged. From there, you drop down, check your battery compartment and then fuel tank. So battery compartment is here. If we can see the battery, we make sure that it's secured to the vehicle. Make sure it's not cracked, damaged, or leaking any battery fluid and has no excessive corrosion around the battery terminals. Other side, we're going to check the fuel tank. So we're checking the fuel tank, straps, fuel cap, fuel electric lines, and hoses. Make sure all parts are securely mounted, no missing nuts or bolts, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. Inside the cap is a chain preventing you from losing the cap and a rubber gasket to prevent leaks. Hoses and wires not dry rot, melted, or frayed. Now we go back to the other side because now we're going to actually check the frame. All right, so the frame of the truck as well as the cross members. They're in the shape of a ladder. There's no illegal welds, no missing nuts or bolts. All securely mounted, not cracked or damaged. From there, you're going to check the air lines and electric line connectors. So on the truck side, we got the cup links. On the trailer side, we got glad hands. Red is emergency trailer, blue service truck, green is the electrical. All right, both truck and trailer side, they're properly connected, securely mounted, not missing nuts or bolts, not CDL, crack, damage, or leaking. All right, now we're going to come over here to the combination section. All right, combination section, that's going to be your fifth wheel. So for this combination section, we want to check to make sure that the apron, which is the top of the trailer frame, sitting on top of the fifth wheel skid plate, is properly greased and no gap with no space in between. All right, then we want to check the hitch release lever here, as well as the locking pin. Both of those are in the lock position. And then you got your platform here, that triangle shape here, going down, held down by your mounting bolts. All right, platform and mounting bolts are secure position. And then underneath here, we have the locking jaw, which is that bar going across here. That's your locking jaw. Behind that sits the kingpin. Locking jaw and kingpin not bent or broken, and all parts, 8 parts total, are all securely mounted, not missing nuts or bolts, not cracked or damaged. You also want to check the airbag in the back. If you do have one on your vehicle, check it top and bottom, make sure it's securely mounted, not missing nuts or bolts, not cracked, damaged, and or leaking air. From there, we're going to go back and check the landing gear and clearance. All right, so that's basically the clearance between your truck and landing gear. All right, we have proper clearance, enough for our turns, and there's no damage to the frame of the truck or trailer. And now we check the landing gear to make sure it's in a fully raised lock position, crank bar in the lock position, all securely mounted, not missing nuts or bolts, not cracked or damaged. And last but not least, lenses and reflectors in the back. Lenses and reflectors in the back. Lenses proper color red, reflectors proper color red and white, all visible, securely mounted, no missing nuts or bolts, not cracked or damaged. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all done less than 15 minutes. That is your pre-trip for Maryland, the state of Maryland. That is your pre-trip. All right, so you guys take this video. Hopefully it helps. Use it as much as possible. Play it like a new song. You know, sometimes you mumble some of the words to those new songs, and every time you hear it, you start picking up more and more of those words. So definitely when you do this pre-trip, don't just look at it, actually say it out loud and go along with the video. That way you can get used to saying it and hearing yourself saying it. So when you go test, it'll be a lot easier and it'll flow out a lot easier as well. And make sure, you know, you like and subscribe to the page, like the video. Please let me know, you know, put comments down there. Let me know if there's anything else that you would like me to do or, you know, work on, or if there's another pre-trip, bus, passenger endorsement, pre-trip, class B, whatever the case may be. We already got those videos up. You can check those videos out. Just put in Cdl4less, class B or passenger, DC, Maryland or Virginia. It'll pop up. All right, so this is the Merlin updated version for your pre-trip. And as you've seen, the actual pre-trip test paper that they will give you the day of your test, and you're just gonna go down that checklist and knock it out. Big Herb signing out. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all very much.